If I say Herald of Galactus, you probably think right away Silver Surfer. Maybe you think Fire Lord, Airwalker, Morgue. There are several to choose from. Maybe you even think Sabretooth from the Age of Apocalypse over in Exiles. It happened. Another one you might not think about is Johnny Storm, the Human Torch of the Fantastic Four. He was once a Herald of Galactus, and let's talk about it. I'm Hossman, and I want to talk about comics. Before we get too into it, I guess I'll give everybody a refresher on who Galactus is. He is the big, giant, purple devourer of worlds guy. So he essentially eats the life energy of a planet, and he has people that work for him called his heralds, and they go, basically, they come to a planet ahead of him and say, hey, Galactus is here, and he's gonna eat your planet, it's cool. But sometimes they take a more noble choice, like the Silver Surfer. Galactus was coming to his planet, and he was like, hey, I will find you planets without people on them. And Galactus was like, yeah, okay, and made him the Silver Surfer. So there is usually that. Anyway, let's jump right into Fantastic Four number 517 by Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo. This is actually the tail end of their classic run. It starts on Halloween, and nothing really special has happened. The Fantastic Four just kind of doing their stuff, and these big green scepter things drop out of space and surround Manhattan. And the mayor is like, let's get the Avengers. And they're like, no, the Avengers are disassembled. This was right as the Avengers disassembled happened. And these spikes hit the ocean and cause a big flood, and the Fantastic Four are there kind of saving people as they can, and then these scepters energize and lift Manhattan right up out of the water. So the Fantastic Four jump right into action, and they go up and they break into the ship, and there's all these monsters in there, and they start fighting these monsters, and they're like, hey, take this. Reed is off trying to solve it and find a way to get Manhattan back down where it belongs. Johnny, Sue, and Ben are off fighting all these big monsters, which turns out they're not necessarily monsters. And then this guy Zeus shows up, and he's their leader, and he looks like a cross between Chewbacca and the Lorax. That's what I see anyway. And Zeus is like, my home planet was attacked by Galactus. It sucked. I managed to make it out. And everybody here is kind of some of the last survivors of their race because of Galactus. It's bad. It's a Galactus problem. We gotta solve it. So we banded together and we actually found a way to solve it. And they had devised a way to make the planets invisible. And that's cool. So Galactus is out looking for planets to eat. He's sampling for some tasty morsels, and he says, oh, there's nothing here. And he passes on, doesn't eat their planets. Great. But of course, Zeus has gotten wind of someone on Earth who can disable that technology. I mean, there's probably plenty of people that can do it, but they've gotten wind of someone with the power to see things that are invisible. And of course, that is Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman. She has the power to make herself invisible, create invisible force fields, but she can also bend light and make things visible. Like she could find them. So they fear that Galactus will come to get her, so they've come to get her first. And Zeus is like, listen, we're not doing a big fancy search. We discovered that the person with this power is on Manhattan, so we're just going to throw Manhattan into the sun. No big deal. And the Fantastic Four are like, that's a big deal. We don't want that. And ultimately it comes down to it, and Susan's like, well, it's me. It's me, the one you want. So, you know, I sacrificed myself. And everybody's like, no, don't do that. And Zeus is like, yeah, we'll let you do that. Just so you know, like, we're not savages. I don't want to do this, but I kind of have to save billions of lives across the galaxy. You understand? And she's like, I don't, but I do. I do understand. It's a sacrifice that I will make. Johnny and Ben are fighting against it, and they're trying not to let it happen because they don't want it to happen, but they can't. They've been powerless against these alien monster things. And then Reed blasts through the door with a gun and was like, put my wife down. And they're like, no, we're gonna kill her. And he's like, get this. Pulls out a big gun and he shoots Sue. And everybody's like, what the hell did you just do? But what he actually did was he depowered Sue. He cobbled something together to take away her powers, and she was powerless. And Zeus is like, okay, you know what? That works, I guess. So he sets them back down on a roof, and they take off, and Ben's like,
do me next.
And Reed's like, what? He's like,
do me, shoot me, take away my powers. You've been trying for years. It's time we do it.
And Reed's like, no, you misunderstand what happened. He's like,
I freaking watched it happen. You took Sue's powers away, the aliens left.
And Reed's like, nah, check this out. Sue, jump off the roof. And Sue's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. And he's like, nah, just trust me. Sue jumps off the roof, and then instinct kicks in, and she flames on, and she becomes a Human Torch. And Johnny's like, whoa, okay, I'm freaking out, and he starts disappearing. And Reed explains how their powers cannot be taken away, but they can be transferred. So by shooting Sue with his science gun, he transferred her powers over to Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. So he couldn't take the thing's powers away like that. He just swapped them. And they're like, okay, well, this is cool. Hey, swap us back. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll go back to the lab right now, and we'll get a swap back. And then they look up, and they're still watching the little green scepters as they're taking off out of the atmosphere, and then they get stopped and they hit something, and Galactus wraps his hand around it and just crushes it. And Zeus is dead. We never see him again. I assume not. I've never looked it up. I'm gonna look it up right now and put words here that confirm either Zeus never shows up or Zeus comes back. Anyway, Galactus comes down, doesn't even say a word, just looks at Johnny because he's looking for the invisible powers, right? And he sees they're with Johnny now. And he zaps Johnny, and Johnny has a new costume, and Johnny is imbued with the power cosmic, and he reaches out and he takes him and leaves. And the Fantastic Four are like, huh. nope, we gotta go find Johnny. I'm sure Johnny could take care of himself, but we gotta find him and we gotta stop this. And then we cut to Johnny Storm on Galactus's ball ship, and he's like, dude, I know you eat planets, so where's the bathroom? I have to go to the bathroom. And Galactus is like, not bothered. And Johnny's just prattling on and on and on, and Galactus really isn't saying anything. And then all of a sudden, Johnny is dropped out of the bottom of the ship, and he's like, what? And there's this guy there. And this guy is Karagan the Unforgiving, and he's like, I'm going to attack Galactus. Galactus destroyed my planet. There's a lot of that going around. And Johnny's like, okay, hold on a second, we can figure this out. And they're fighting for a bit, and then Johnny's like, you're starting to piss me off, man. And he unleashes with his power, and he's new to this power, and he actually flays the guy's skin off, and he's like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, and he puts a bubble around him. He's like, okay, I got a bubble around you, and like, you seem strong, you might be able to heal from this. And he's like, yeah, I can feel you mending. And this guy's just like, what did you do to me? He doesn't actually say anything. And Johnny takes him down to a planet. He's like, I'm just gonna hold a bubble around you till you heal. Okay, bye now. You be good, sir. Wow, that much power kind of scared me. Is this what power cosmic is? Johnny's kind of going around, he's thinking, I gotta find a planet that like has all the life it needs to feed Galactus, but no actual sentient life. And he goes down to one planet and he's like, take me to your leader, man. And this strong guy's like, I am the leader. And Johnny's like, no, that weak old man over there is the leader, and you pretend to be the leader to show strength. Well, that's true. How'd you know that? He's like, I don't know. He's like, look, Galactus is coming. We got to find him a planet. And they're like, nah, that's silly. You guys, we're not helping you. We're not helping Galactus. And they actually attack Johnny. So he flies away. And Johnny goes and he tries planet after planet after planet. He's like, hey, help me. And they're like, we can't help you. We can't fight Galactus. Stuff like that. Or we surrender. Like everybody's just giving up to him. He finally thinks he finds one planet. He's like, wow, it's full of life. There's nothing here. And then all of a sudden he just knows that there is some small life, and he goes down these tiny little bugs, and he all of a sudden he sees them. He knows they're there. So then he's teleported back to Galactus' ship, and he sees Galactus is assembling everything. Like, he doesn't actually take chunks of the planet. He has a machine that drains the energy. And Johnny recognizes it. He's like, oh, Galactus is getting ready to feed. Oh, great. We got to find a planet. I got to talk to Galactus. And then he realizes that's how he knew the guy was lying. That's how he knew the guy would heal himself. That's how he knew those little bugs were there. Johnny's new power cosmic isn't just ultimate power cosmic. It is the power to see things. So he can kind of see things he shouldn't see. He can see through charades. He can see unknown truths because he's supposed to find these invisible planets. He can see things, right? I think it's really cool, really clever. So he's like, and he looks at Galactus and sees through Galactus. And then he starts talking to Galactus. He's like, I know, man. We have to talk, Galactus. Or should I say, Gallon? Then Galactus just stares at him and says the first words he said to him this whole time. He's like, go on. That's when we finally get the history of Galactus, and I believe it's the first time that we learn that Galactus actually is a being from the universe before this universe. And he went on a mission, much like the Fantastic Four, and was kind of hit with cosmic energies. And then the universe collapsed in on itself, I believe, and then the Big Bang happened and birthed the universe that we're in now. And so two things were formed at that Big Bang. The universe and Galactus, with all the cosmic energies and stuff from his other universe, and he became Galactus in this universe. Meanwhile, the Fantastic Four want to find Johnny, and they call on Quasar for some reason. They have their own spaceships and stuff, but they call on Quasar to fly them through space. And they show up, and they're like, oh, Galactus, and they beat him up. And there's a really touching part where Johnny looks and sees his teammates for what they are. He sees them in a new light with his new power. It's really nice. And then Johnny Storm figures it all out. He's like, okay, you guys go smash some stuff and distract him. Reed, you got to build a giant gun, like the gun that you swap Sue's power with. He's like, okay, and he starts building it and making it. Actually, Quasar builds it with his Green Lantern powers, according to Reed's specifications. And then Johnny goes down and fires. He uses his power cosmic, and he thinks his power cosmic in that same type of gun, and they zap Galactus and take away Galactus's power. And then Galactus's armor crumbles to the ground, and they win. And then Gallon, the man version of Galactus, walks out, just normal-sized man. He's like, well, hello. So the Fantastic Four take him back to Earth. And Reed explains, like, it's the same thing with the Fantastic Four's energy. The energy can be transferred elsewhere, but it can never be dissipated. It can't be gone. So while they've taken all of Galactus' energy and shot it out into the galaxy, it will find its way back. So in that time, they've got to show Galactus that life is worth something. And they try, and they don't. Galactus is like, nah, this sucks. Art sucks. This sucks. You suck. Everything sucks. I'm going to devour it all. Even they try to get like Alicia, and they're like, look at this, I'm blind and I'm an artist. And he's like, ah, that's neat, but no, you suck. I'm going to eat your planet. Man, the second I get my power back, Earth is a delicacy. Nom, 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 nom. And then ultimately, he sees that they're just not giving up. And that's kind of what does it. He's like, oh man, you guys don't give up. You just want to survive. Like, that's all I guess I want. So how can I kill you for that? I guess I'll go ban myself to another dimension. And he hijacks something of Reed's and teleports himself off to another dimension. He's like, nah, my energy won't come looking. I wonder if a story came out of that. I think it might have. But ultimately, Galactus didn't disappear. He was back. He was back by annihilation. It was fun to see the human side of Galactus. I'm kind of rushing through all this. I urge you to read it yourself. It is available on Marvel Unlimited, or you can find the Fantastic Four trade paperback paperbacks, Disassembled and Rising Storm, volumes 5 and 6. They contained the whole story there. Or you can find issues 517 through 524, although I recommend the entire Mark Waid, Mike Waringo run. If you like the Fantastic Four even remotely, this is a great run. You can find it all kinds of places. But the story's not over. So Johnny still has Sue's power, and Stu still has Johnny's power. They want that fixed. So one of the things Reed is working on, he's getting them swapping, but Reed makes a mistake, and he doesn't often make mistakes, but when he does, they are big mistakes. Johnny still had a little bit of the power cosmic, so his calculations were off, and instead of swapping Sue and Johnny's powers like he was supposed to, it actually took away the entire Fantastic Four's powers and sent them out through New York, and the powers just hit random people. There was a guy boxing, got punched in the face, and his neck stretched way over there. There was a nun, and she turned into the Thing. Here's a picture. That's actually been reacting well on Instagram. You can find me, Hossman Comics, on Instagram if you want. No reason to. So once again, same idea. Their energies can be sent elsewhere, but they can't be gotten rid of. So people throughout the city are all of a sudden turning invisible, and then the power leaves, and then it goes someone else, and they're bursting into flames, then the power leaves. Reed creates these gloves, and it's like, oh, we got these cool gloves, and we gotta go get our powers back. And they go, and Johnny gets his power back, and Sue gets her power back. There's a big guy rampaging as the Thing, and Ben's like, I got this one, and he runs in and he hits the guy and doesn't make it, and then Reed walks up and is like, what are you doing? You reached out and you missed. You tried to touch him and you missed. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure I touched him. Your glove didn't work. He's like, no, you missed, man. What are you doing? Just get out of here. And he's like, you don't want to be the Thing anymore. You just want to stay Ben Grimm. You're all happy as you are. So, you know, you're not helping us. Get out of here. We'll get the energy and we'll fix you back at the shop. Reed, that was rude. And he's like, no, listen, we're doing this on purpose. I gave Ben a bad glove. I don't want him to be that guy anymore. He doesn't want to be the Thing. I don't want to put that burden on him. The energies, I can contain them both. I will be the Thing. I will contain the Thing. I'll take that. I screwed up his life. I made him the Thing. I want to be the Thing. But of course, Ben was already 2 steps ahead, and he swapped gloves with Mr. Fantastic. And he goes, and there's a really heartfelt moment where they find this guy in the sewer, and he's got Ben's powers, and Reed's like, no, man, you don't have to do this. And he's like,
No, man, I do. I appreciate you, but like, I can't let you do that for me. I'm the Thing. I've gotten years to get used to this. I'm used to it. Like, if you do this, it means not feeling it when your daughter kisses you on the cheek, and just not feeling it when your wife holds you.
Just stuff like that. And Ben's like, most people couldn't handle it. I can handle it. And it's really touching. And he goes, and then we got the Thing back. It was a good, nice, touching end for the story. Everything kind of, it wasn't all big overarching story of the whole run, but it was a nice little bow to cap it on. They knew they were ending. There was no cliffhangers left over, nothing unresolved. It was just a nice, heartfelt, warm Fantastic Four story. And I liked it. Anyway, that was the story of the time Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four became a Herald of Galactus. And a bit of the story before it, and a bit of the story after it. I'm Hossman. If you enjoyed this at all, like, subscribe. I've got plenty of other videos. Here's one about the Fantastic Four in particular. And here's another one over there. Anyway, like, subscribe, share this with someone. Have a great day, and I will catch you next time.